So, getting into the reading. Nellie and Kathy visit Linton near Wuthering Heights because Kathy's not allowed on the property, on the estate, and Linton is doing poorly. He seems afraid of his dad. It seems like he is dying, and also that Edgar Linton, Catherine's dad, is also dying. So after their visit, this is them coming back, and Nellie tells Edgar about what happened. 7 days glided away, everyone marking its course by the henceforth rapid alteration of Edgar Linton's state. The havoc that months had previously wrought was now emulated by the inroads of hours. Catherine we would fain have deluded, but her own quick spirit refused to delude her. It divined in secret and brooded on the dreadful probability, gradually ripening into certainty. She had not the heart to mention her ride when Thursday came round. I mentioned it for her and obtained permission to order her out of doors, for the library where her father stopped a short time daily, the brief period he could bear to sit up, and his chamber had become her whole world. She grudged each moment that did not find her bending over his pillow or seated by his side. Her countenance grew wan with watching and sorrow, and my master gladly dismissed her to what he flattered himself would be a happy change of scene in society, drawing comfort from the hope that she would not now be left entirely alone after his death. He had a fixed idea, I guessed by several observations he let fall, that as his nephew resembled him in person, he would resemble him in mind, for Linton's letters bore few or no indications of his defective character, and I, through pardonable weakness, refrained from correcting the error, asking myself what good there would be in disturbing his last moments with information that he had neither power nor opportunity to turn to account. So now he's finally come around, it seems, to Kathy marrying Linton. Because he's dying and he wants her to be taken care of, because guess what? Women can't own property and she will just be homeless. We deferred our excursion till the afternoon, a golden afternoon of August, every breath from the hills so full of life that it seemed whoever respired it, though dying, might revive. Catherine's face was just like the landscape, shadows and sunshine flitting over it in rapid succession. That's really evocative imagery. But the shadows rested longer, and the sunshine was more transient, and her poor little heart reproached itself for even that passing forgetfulness of its cares. We discerned Linton watching at the same spot he had selected before. My mistress alighted, and told me that as she was resolved to stay a very little while, I had better hold the pony and remain on horseback. But I dissented. I wouldn't risk losing sight of the charge committed to me a minute, so we climbed the slope of heath together. Master Heathcliff received us with greater animation on this occasion. Not the animation of high spirits, though, nor yet of joy. It looked more like fear. "It is late," he said, speaking short and with difficulty. "Is not your father very ill? I thought you wouldn't come." "Why won't you be candid?" cried Catherine, swallowing her greeting. "Why cannot you say at once you don't want me? It is strange, Linton, that for the second time you have brought me here on purpose, apparently, to distress us both, and for no reason besides." Linton shivered and glanced at her, half supplicating, half ashamed. But his cousin's patience was not sufficient to endure this enigmatical behavior. "My father is very ill," she said, "and why am I called from his bedside? Why didn't you send to absolve me from my promise when you wished I wouldn't keep it? Come, I desire an explanation. Plain and trifling are completely banished out of my mind, and I can't dance attendance on your affections now." "My affections," he murmured. "What are they? For heaven's sake, Catherine, don't look so angry. Despise me as you wish. I am a worthless, cowardly wretch. I can't be scorned enough. But I'm too mean for your anger. Hate my father and spare me for contempt. Nonsense, cried Catherine in a passion. Foolish, silly boy. And there, he trembles as if I were really going to touch him. You needn't bespeak contempt, Linton. Anybody will have it spontaneously at your service. Get off. I shall return home. It is folly dragging you from the hearthstone and pretending. What do we pretend? Let go my frock. If I pitied you for crying and looking so frightened, you should spurn such pity. Ellen, tell him how disgraceful his conduct is. Rise, and don't degrade yourself into an abject reptile. Don't. With streaming face and expression of agony, Linton had thrown his nerveless frame along the ground. He seemed convulsed with exquisite terror. Oh, he sobbed, I cannot bear it. Catherine, I'm a traitor too, and I dare not tell you. But leave me and I shall be killed. Dear Catherine, my life is in your hands, and you have said you loved me, and if you did, it wouldn't harm you. You'll not go then? Kind, sweet, good Catherine? And perhaps you will consent, and he'll let me die with you. My young lady, on witnessing his intense anguish, stooped to raise him. The old feeling of indulgent tenderness overcame her vexation, and she grew thoroughly moved and alarmed. Consent to what? She asked. To stay? Tell me the meaning of this strange talk, and I will. You contradict your words and distract me. Be calm and frank, and confess at once all that weighs on your heart. You wouldn't injure me, Linton, would you? You wouldn't let any enemy hurt me, if you could prevent it? I'll believe you are a coward for yourself, but not a cowardly betrayer of your best friend. But my father threatened me, gasped the boy, clasping his attenuated fingers. And I dread him. I dare not tell. Oh, well, said Catherine with scornful compassion. Keep your secret. I'm no coward. Save yourself. I'm not afraid. Her magnanimity. Magnanimity. How do you say this word? I'm struggling. Magnanimity. Oh, God. Magnanimity. That second N that really got me. Magnanimity. Okay. Damn. Her magnanimity provoked his tears. He wept wildly, kissing her supporting hands, and yet could not summon courage to speak out. While I was cogitating what the mystery might be, and determined Catherine should never suffer to benefit him or anyone else by my good will, when hearing a rustle among the ling, I'm going to look up what that means. We have a footnote. The heather is what that means. Ling. I looked up and saw Mr. Heathcliff almost close upon us, descending the heights. He didn't cast a glance towards my companions, though they were sufficiently near for Linton's sobs to be audible. But hailing me, Hi, buddy. His after-dinner meows. Hi. Say hi. Okay. I'm going to read just a couple more pages and then be done for today. But hailing me in the almost hearty tone he assumed to none besides, and the sincerity of which I couldn't avoid doubting, he said, It is something to see you so near to my house, Nellie. How are you at the Grange? Let us hear. The rumor goes, he added in a lower tone, that Edgar Linton is on his deathbed. Perhaps they exaggerate his illness? Still there. Hi. He's deciding. He's deciding what to do. Okay. No, my master is dying, this is Nellie, I replied. It is true enough. A sad thing it will be for all of us, but a blessing for him. How long will he last, do you think? He asked. I don't know, I said. Because, he continued, looking at the two young people who were fixed under his eye, Linton appeared as if he could not venture to stir or raise his head, and Catherine could not move on his account. Because that lad yonder seems determined to beat me, and I'd thank his uncle to be quick and go before him. Hallo, has the whelp been playing that game long? I did give him some lessons about snivelling. Is he pretty lively with Miss Linton, generally? Lively? No, he has shown the greatest distress, I answered. To see him, I should say, that instead of rambling with his sweetheart on the hills, he ought to be in bed, under the hands of a doctor. He'll be in a day or two. Oh, he shall be in a day or two, muttered Heathcliff. But first, get up, Linton. Get up, he shouted. Don't grovel on the ground. There, up this moment. Linton had sunk prostrate again in another paroxysm of helpless fear, caused by his father's glance towards him. I suppose there was nothing else to produce such humiliation. He's not getting him a doctor. It's really sad. He made several efforts to obey, but his little strength was annihilated for the time, and he fell back again with a moan. Mr. Heathcliff advanced and lifted him to lean against a ridge of turf. Now, he said with curbed ferocity, I'm getting angry, and if you don't command that paltry spirit of yours, damn you, get up directly. I will, father, he panted. Only let me alone, or I shall faint. I've done as you wished, I'm sure. Catherine will tell you that I have been cheerful. Oh, keep by me, Catherine. Give me your hand. Take mine, said his father. Stand on your feet. There now. She'll lend you her arm. That's right. Look at her. You would imagine I was the devil himself, Miss Linton, to excite such horror. Be so kind as to walk home with him, will you? He shudders if I touch him. Linton, dear, whispered Catherine, I can't go to Wuthering Heights. Papa has forbidden me. He'll not harm you. Why are you so afraid? I can never re-enter that house, he answered. I am not to re-enter it without you. Stop, cried his father, so we know he's being abused, also neglected with his medical care. We'll respect Catherine's filial scruples. Nellie, take him in, and I'll follow your advice concerning the doctor without delay. You'll do well, replied I, but I must remain with my mistress. To mind your son is not my business. You are very stiff, said Heathcliff. I know that, but you'll force me to pinch the baby and make it scream before it moves your charity. Come then, my hero. Are you willing to return, escorted by me? He approached once more, and made as if he would seize the fragile being. But shrinking back, Linton clung to his cousin, and implored her to accompany him with a frantic importunity that admitted no denial. However I disapproved, I couldn't hinder her. Indeed, how could she have refused him herself? What was filling him with dread, we had no means of discerning. But there he was, powerless under its gripe, and any addition seemed capable of shocking him into idiocy. We reached the threshold. Catherine walked in, and I stood waiting till she had conducted the invalid to a chair, expecting her out immediately, when Mr. Heathcliff, pushing me forward, exclaimed, My house is not stricken with the plague, Nellie, and I have a mind to be hospitable today. Sit down, and allow me to shut the door. He shut and locked it also. I started. You shall have tea before you go home, he added. I am by myself. Hareton is gone with some cattle into the Leas, and Zillah and Joseph are on a journey of pleasure. And though I'm used to being alone, a journey of pleasure? What does this mean? I want to know their story. And though I'm used to being alone, I'd rather have some interesting company if I can get it. Miss Linton, take your seat by him. I give you what I have. The present is hardly worth accepting, but I have nothing else to offer. It is Linton, I mean. How she does stare! It's odd what a savage feeling I have to anything that seems afraid of me. I mean, yeah, it makes sense because people have been feeling that way towards him his entire life as a form of oppression. Had I been born where laws are less strict and tastes less dainty, I should treat myself to a slow vivisection of those two as an evening's amusement. He drew in his breath, struck the table, and swore to himself. By hell, I hate them. I'm not afraid of you, exclaimed Catherine, who could not hear the latter part of his speech. She stepped close up, her black eyes flashing with passion and resolution. Give me that key. I will have it, she said. I wouldn't eat or drink here if I was starving. Heathcliff had the key in his hand that remained on the table. He looked up, seized with a sort of surprise at her boldness, or possibly reminded by her voice and glance of the person from whom she inherited it. Yes, that's what it is. Because she's acting like her mom. She snatched at the instrument and half succeeded in getting it out of his loosened fingers, but her action recalled him to the present. He recovered it speedily. Now, Catherine Linton, he said, stand off, or I shall knock you down, and that will make Mrs. Dean mad. Regardless of this warning, she captured his closed hand and its contents again. We will go, she repeated, exerting her utmost efforts to cause the iron muscles to relax, and finding that her nails made no impression, she applied her teeth pretty sharply. Heathcliff glanced at me a glance that kept me from interfering a moment. Catherine was too intent on his fingers to notice his face. He opened them suddenly and resigned the object of dispute. But ere she had well secured it, he seized her with the liberated hand and pulling her on his knee, administered with the other a shower of terrific slaps on both sides of the head, each sufficient to have fulfilled his threat had she been able to fall. Jesus. So she's clawing at his hands because he's locked them inside. She wants to leave. He's keeping them there. She scratches him and bites him, and then he is like hitting her on the head. At this diabolical violence, I rushed on him furiously. You villain! I began to cry. You villain! A touch on the chest silenced me. I am stout and soon put out of breath. And this is like the first description we're getting of Nellie's appearance. We don't really know what she looks like because she isn't really describing herself as the narrator. And with that and the rage, I staggered back dizzily and felt ready to suffocate or to burst a blood vessel. The scene was over in 2 minutes. Catherine released, put her 2 hands to her temples, and looked just as if she were not sure whether her ears were off or on. She trembled like a reed, poor thing, and leaned against the table, perfectly bewildered. Yeah, that's the only time she's like gotten treatment like that. I know how to chastise children, you see, said the scoundrel grimly, as he stooped to repossess himself of the key, which had dropped to the floor. Go to Linton now, as I told you, and cry at your ease. I shall be your father tomorrow, all the father you'll have in a few days, and you shall have plenty of that. You can bear plenty, you're no weakling. You shall have a daily taste if I catch such a devil of a temper in your eyes again. Kathy ran to me instead of Linton, and knelt down and put her burning cheek on my lap, weeping aloud. Her cousin Excuse me. Her cousin had shrunk into a corner of the settle, as quiet as a mouse, congratulating himself, I dare say, that the correction had lighted on another than him. Mr. Heathcliff, perceiving us all confounded, rose and expeditiously made the tea himself. The cups and saucers. Wow, a man actually making tea. I mean, the situation's not great. That's not like giving him a lot of credit. But this is a very rare instance in a book of this time period. The cups and saucers were laid ready. He poured it out and handed me a cup. "Wash away your spleen," he said, "and help your own naughty pet and mine. It is not poisoned, though I prepared it. I'm going out to seek your horses." Our first thought on his departure was to force an exit somewhere. We tried the kitchen door, but that was fastened outside. We looked at the windows. They were too narrow for even Kathy's little figure. "Master Linton," I cried, seeing we were regularly imprisoned, "you know what your diabolical father is after, and you shall tell us, or I'll box your ears as he's done to your cousins." Okay. I think I'm going to end it there. I know that that's like in the middle, not the best stopping point. But there's some suspense. Ooh. Okay. Tomorrow, I'm going to get into talking about more advocacy and organizing, as well as what's happening in the Congo and Sudan, getting the history there, and then reading, of course. Also, Band Book Club. We're reading to chapter 12. So 9, 10, 11. Okay. That's going to be it for me today. But thank you for being here. It was great chatting with you. I hope you have a good rest of your day, evening, wherever you are. And